But first, I'm very pleased to invite Professor Claudette Commanda to provide some opening remarks. Professor Commanda, an Algonquin Anishinaabe from Kitigan-Zibi Anishinaabe First Nation, is an alumna of the University of Ottawa Faculty of Common Law and Faculty of Arts, and she's dedicated the last 35 years to promoting First Nations people, history, culture, and rights in various capacities as a University of Ottawa student, professor, member, and chair of the Aboriginal Educational Council. We've invited Professor Commanda to help set the stage for today's discussion, to help us think broadly about our objectives, our impacts, and our ways of knowing. I will ask, as nice as it is to see everyone's faces, that people kindly shut off their videos for the keynote speaker and for this speaker so that we can ensure optimal connections. And with that, Professor Commanda, the floor virtually is yours.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you for that kind introduction. I thank you and your team for inviting me to participate in your roundtable discussions, and I'm very pleased to bring words of what we call like setting a good path. And I really appreciate being here. So Chimigwech, I begin by saying Chimigwech kakina kibijaig oma Anishinaabe ki o mama wenenewag kani michkishigun kinun edishnakas Kitigan-Zibi donjaban. Welcome everyone. I bring greetings on behalf of my people, the Algonquin Nation. And I welcome each and every one of you beautiful people to this homeland, this ancestral homeland of the Algonquin. I acknowledge my ancestors, those first ancestors of the land, my ancestors, whom we refer to as Nijenwen Daganago Mama Wenenewag. I acknowledge Indigenous peoples from the various nations, from coast to coast to coast in this place called Canada. I acknowledge your ancestors. I acknowledge everyone who is here and participating in this first roundtable. I acknowledge you, and I acknowledge your ancestors too as well. We must never forget who our ancestors are. We must never forget where we come from. We must never forget the connection. And when we think about ancestors, they were here before us, and they continue to be here to provide us with their wisdom, with their knowledge. We learned from them. And it is our responsibility to respect and to keep the knowledge and the wisdom that they shared with us. And we have that responsibility to share with others. And today, as we gather for Genome Canada's Leaders First Roundtable, leaders of various expertise, it speaks about community of knowledge, the community of knowledge. Setting the path, and how are we going to set the path? It's by bringing in key people to share their wisdom, to share their knowledge, their experiences, by listening, by learning from one another. And by listening and learning from one another, it's called sharing. Sharing the wisdom, sharing the knowledge, sharing questions, sharing ideas. It builds understanding. And from that understanding comes creative, innovative strategies to benefit society, to benefit the country, and most importantly, the ecosystem. And to take that word, the ecosystem, for we as First Nations people or as Anishinaabe, we understand this to be the environment, but the environment to us is inclusive of the land, the air, the waters, the animals, people. It's all of creation. It's what some refer to as nature. And in nature, we find our place as human beings in nature. We find our place in this order of creation. We find our place in the responsibility that we have to share knowledge, to gain knowledge, to listen to one another. So to you, my friends, that are gathering here today for the first roundtable, it's important that we listen. It's important to share. For indeed, as what I believe and what I've been taught, by my ancestors, by my relatives who have come before me, and those elders that continue to shape the path that I walk on. That it is the wisdom, the first knowledge, the first voices of this land called Canada, those such ancient knowledges of what we call Anishinaabe. We have so much to offer in building what's so needed to ensure the benefit of a good life, Minno Pamadswin. So what I close my words by saying, it is important that we also lift our hearts and our minds, and we ask for that help. We ask for that blessing of sharing of wisdom, of putting in a safe space for our wisdom and our knowledge to be respected, to be heard, to be listened to be understood. When we come together as people, what we offer, when we are speaking about our lived experiences, when we're speaking about our solutions, when we are speaking and sharing our knowledge and our wisdom, we're sharing it from our spirit. And therefore, the knowledge we share and the knowledge that we gain is sacred. And that is why it's so important that when we come together, we ask for that blessing of kindness, that blessing of strength, and that blessing of health. So I say to the Creator, Chimigwej Gishiminado Kinakego, Migwejonje Nongum, Nibuksendam Onje Kakina Nongum, Shishwabang, Mashkawizin, Zagiedwin, Minapumadswin. And through that healthy mind, and through the strength of our knowledge, and through the respect that we have for one another, we will build, through our learning, build those innovative, creative strategies for the benefit of all. Community. It speaks about community. Community of leaders, community of colleagues, community of knowledge keepers. And you are all knowledge keepers. Chi Miigwech. Thank you, Rob. Miigwech.